Welcome back, everyone. Thank you again for joining us here on Gameyaaad TV for another video. Now in this video, we will be looking back on the first test that was played between West Indies and India in Ahmedabad. Now, West Indies would have won the toss and elected to bat first. And based on rust and chase, because I was of the opinion, given that the pitch was very green, which suggests that there are some moisture in the wicket, and also the overhead condition was a bit overcast. I was looking on the fact that our pace bowlers, even though we were missing our frontline pace bowlers, the two Josephs, they were injured, so they are currently unavailable for these two tests in India. Now, given the condition was ideal for pace bowling, I was of the opinion that we should have bowled on that wicket on the first day to see what we can extract out of the pitch in order to put pressure early on the Indian batting lineup, because we know that the Indian batting lineup is very long. It goes right down to Washington Sundar, right? So, but having listened to Chase post-match interview, he said that I think they would have made the right decision on batting first. He said that they would have seen that there are a little bit of moisture in the wicket, but their thought process was that if their batters can get in and for the first session try to just soak up some pressure and then counter punch as the day progress. I think they would have been in really good position. And to be fair to Rust and Chase, I think that's not a bad idea. But that was not the case, and so by the time it was lunch on first day, West Indies were already down 5 wickets. At lunch we were at 90 for 5, right? And that would have put us under really lot of pressure on the first day. And batting first in a test match, if you do not bat out the first day, you are going to be under a lot of pressure, especially if the opponents get in and start to score big. We're going to be under pressure, and I think that's what would have happened. So West Indies in the end, they would have been dismissed for 162 in 44.1 over. And the main destroyer in that first inning was Mohammed Siraj. He took 4 for 40 in that first innings. Bumrah came back in the back end, got 3 wickets. Washington Sundar and Kuldeep Yadav would have taken a wicket apiece. And so West Indies, as I said, would have been bowled out for 162. And I think our main issue as a team, our main issue is our batting, and that would have failed us again in this first match. West Indies batters, I think they are not trusting their defense. It could be that there are deficiencies in their defense, or it's just confidence issue, given how much test matches we have been losing, and that can take a toll on the mind, because when we go back to when Darren Sammy would have taken over the team, one of the things that came out of that is that we would have changed our approach in terms of how we bat. We would play a more aggressive brand of cricket, and two test series now, and I have not seen that coming to the fore. In the Australia series, we have our batters would have failed us miserably, because remember in that series our pace bowlers, they were unsung. right? And our 3 pace bowlers, they would have formed, in terms of the top 5 wicket takers in that, Australia series. Shamar Joseph had taken 22 wickets against the Australians. Alzarri Joseph and Jaden Seales backed up with 13 wickets, apiece. So our fast bowlers, there is no doubt when Shamar Joseph and Alzarri Joseph and Jaden Seales are bowling together, there is no doubt that they cannot, perform well against even the toughest opponents in world cricket. So we have a world-class, fast bowling lineup in our test team. Our main issue is where our batting is concerned. And that's something that we, need to look on seriously. Tejnarayan Shandapal would have, been back into the team. I've been had, not many people, including myself, would have been, in agreement with, taking Tejnarayan Shandapal, having given the fact that he did not have a good, domestic season. It was more a truncated domestic season. But I do understand the reason for, bringing back someone like Tejnarayan Shandapal on this tour. But Tejnarayan and John Campbell, they have not fired in this match, this first match. And our middle order, they have been, we have not seen any resistance. And to be honest and to be fair to the West Indies team, we are not expecting them to go to India to win a test match. If they do, we are really grateful. But what we want to see from our players, we want to see improvements, and we want to see, competitive cricket. And if we go back to Australia series, and that 27 all out in Jamaica, right, would have put a dark shadow over that test series. But if we can look back, microscopically on that series, we would have seen where our players, they would have been competitive for most of those 3 test matches. More often than not, is normally like the last day we would have lost, our competitiveness. And so that's what we want to see against India. We want to see a few of our batters standing up in the middle and score some runs, especially our more experienced players like Ruston Chase and Shea Hope. We want to see them go out there and put up some resistance against the Indian bowlers, right? So that's something that we really want to see. And going into the second test, we may have to, and this is something that I've been calling for from Australia series. Our batters are not batting, and we have to bolster the batting order. We need to play another batter. I know the implication of that, and it's something that we just have to try, right? We know that carrying another batter would mean that one of our spinners would not, be able to play, and that would have disrupted the balance of our bowling and our ability to take 20 wickets in a test match. And I understand that, right? But we have to try something else in order to be competitive, right? If we cannot bowl out the Indians, we probably need to try and bat, right? So that's something that we can look at going into the Delhi test, right? And another worrying sign is that out of the last 15 right innings that West Indies would have batted, right, we have scored over 250 once, and that's something that is very concerning. That's something that we need to look on. We have been, in fact, in this test match, we have scored 308 in both innings, right? When you aggregate the score in both innings, we would have just scored 308. That is unacceptable at this level. And we would have batted 89.2 overs over the 2 innings. And remember, 190 overs is to be bowled within a day. That's the That's the standard, right? And if we would have batted 89.2, what it suggests, technically, we have been dismissed two times within a day of a test match. That's unaccepted. That's schoolboy stuff, right? So something has to be done going into the second. As I said, I am not expecting us to beat India. India would have, and that's something that would have surprised me. India brought their strongest test team to play against West Indies. Probably it's because they would have lost 3-0 last year, November, against the New Zealanders. I'm not sure, but I was not expecting Shubman Gill, having played the Asian, final, the 28th of September, right? Asian Cup final with Bumrah and the others. So I was not expecting them to play, but India brought their strongest lineup, right? So I did not expect us to win. But what I want to see, one is improvement in our game day by day, and also show some resistance, show some competitiveness, right? So we need to be looking on those things. So scores in the match, West Indies would have made 162 in their first innings. India, in their reply, they would have piled up 448 for 5 declare, and 3 individuals would have made century from the India team. KL Rahul would have scored an even 100, and as I would have said in previous videos, KL Rahul has just continue his form from England, right? He would have scored 2 centuries in that series, along with 2 half centuries, and he averaged 53, scoring over 500 runs in that series. One of the things I think that happened for KL Rahul would be being able to cement his place in the opening batting lineup for India with the retirement of Rohit Sharma. We know that KL Rahul have been batting probably number 6, number 5, number 4. He was all over, not getting a steady place in the team, but now he has gotten that opening lineup, and he has been scoring. He has been churning out some really good runs for the Indian team, right? We know that Shubman Gill has been in really good form as well, scoring over 754 runs in the England series, and Shubman Gill has been. He averaged 75 runs in that England series. So he just continues good for him. He would have gotten an even 50, in their first innings. Another century scored would have been Dhruv Jurel, maiden test century, and scoring 125 runs. Came in because of the injured Rishabh Pant, and he did make a statement in his first, scoring his first maiden century. And it was a really good century. He played some really good shots, and he was a part of a 206 run partnership between Ravindra Jadeja, and they just take the game away from the West Indies in that middle phase there, and they just keep piling on the runs. They were using their feet coming down the wicket, hitting some huge sixes, and it was just a joy to watch, those two, batting, play shots all around the ground. Ravindra Jadeja also got a century, not out on 104, and Jadeja has been in scintillating form as well, coming out of that England series. He would have scored over 500 runs in that series as well, and he would have taken, some wickets as well. He would have scored 650 plus score in that England series, and so he just carry on what he would have started in England in this series. And so we have seen where India just look really calm and composed at the wicket, and I mean, that's something that West Indies batters can take away from this test. They need to look at what the Indians did well. I mean, sometimes they had to soak up the pressure, and I think that's something that our batters are unable to do, is to soak up pressure. Because on that first day, I was expecting Tejnara and Shandapal and John Campbell, with the moisture they would have seen in the wicket. I was expecting them for the first session to kind of soak up all that pressure, because we know that the ball will nip around, right? And they were unable to. To be honest with you, I think Tejnara and Shandapal in that first innings, was very unlucky, paddling one down the leg to the wicket keeper. But separate and apart from that, I think our batters really need to especially work on their defense, right? Brandon King, left a ball that was on his middle stump, right? And it's just unacceptable the way our batters, are batting, right? We have to be better. We have to be better, especially at this level. We have to be better. As I said, there is a gulf in class where batting is concerned between India and the West Indies, but what I really want to see is competitive cricket. We need to show some resistance at the wicket, right? We cannot just lie down and die like that. We have to show some fight, some character, right, going into the second test match. And something I have observed with our batters, the gold standard of test cricket is scoring 100. There's no two way about it. And I've seen where our batters, they are comfortable scoring 20s and 30s. Those scores are unacceptable in test cricket. The gold standard is to score 100. When you get to 50, you need to push on to the big one, and not just 100, but big hundreds, right? So that's something that we have to drive that, nail that down in the head of our batters, right? We can't be comfortable scoring just 20s and 30s, right? When we look at even the average of the team, only one batter average over 30 in this West Indies batting lineup. With these things, back in the days, none of these players probably could make West Indies team with these batting average. So why is it now that we are comfortable, persons batting in our top order with like average of 19 runs, 20, 25? We have to be better. We have to be better. And Ruston Chase would have highlighted some things that need to be done in the West Indies for our performance to be better in terms of our infrastructure. There are, finances, to really boost our cricket in the region. So there are some things, and I do understand that these are factors that will affect our performance. But you guys are already there. Make use of the opportunity that you have been given. To wear the West Indies badge should mean something, right? So we want to see something better in Delhi. As I said, I don't expect you guys to win the test match, but please, we want to see some improvements, especially where our batting is concerned.